My guest today is politician Gabil Huseynli. Welcome to our studio. Thank you. Today we will speak about revolutionary wave of demonstrations and protests in Libya. Libya revolution is going to end. How do you appreciate situation and previous actions that happened in Libya? Can you tell about it from regional, political and international approach? It's true that some people call the revolution happened in Libya national revolution. Others consider that this is uprising against central government. Although they have the same essence, but those actions are part of the process directed to realizations of Arab Spring and the project called Central East by United States of America. Because such kind of actions took place in Egypt, Tunis and Yemen. Incidents happened in Syria lasted long. The main reason for that was that comparing to Tunis, feudal patriarchal relations have been deeply rooted in Syria. Therefore, the national revolution gathered electoral base with difficulty, and people gathered around Gaddafi was faithful to a central government. Therefore, the incident in Syria lasted long. Of course, Gaddafi himself has also a role in this process. He was very keen to struggle till the end, and he had also psychological problems, and he didn't refuse to use arms to kill his own nation. And a number of people were killed during these incidents. But now incidents are going to end, but it doesn't mean that it's ending completely. The main problem will begin after that. After 42 years, the protesters are going to bring down the government. What message does it give to the world and Azerbaijan as well? I want to say that life standards in Libya is not low level, it's higher than that of Tunis. People in this country received enough amount of wages. Despite of that, there was national range throughout the country. The amount of wages were high. For example, there was neither parliament nor cabinet of ministers in the country, and there was no president as well. There is an ideology called green ideology, and based on that, Gaddafi wrote a book copied the ideas from Marx and Engels. Based on that book, he formed a system called national government, and he considered himself as the leader of this system. And he announced that in this system everything is controlled by the nation. Therefore, he didn't feel any need to parliaments, cabinet of ministers, and local authorities. There were authorities in every local, and they had to control everything. For example, during this period, people received enough amount of wages. For example, an engineer received $1,500 a month in salary, and a nurse received $800, etc. By saying that, I don't want to claim that there is no enough reason for national wage. In Libya, I think the government is not selected and not formed based on people's will, and it cannot be changed by the nation. The state was controlled by Gaddafi and his sons. The Libyan government states that Libya is a direct democracy without any political parties governed by its populace. But in practice, it's not so. He built a system called Jamahiriya, which allows him to control the state himself. As the government lack of government structures, freedom, right for electing and being elected pave the way for public wage. Several leaders announced that Arab Spring has already come to an end, but it seems that it has not ended yet, and a new wave of demonstration and protests will begin. Besides Syria, Russia is also mentioned in statements by US. And what is the regional influences of that revolution? Did it influence to the region or not? Arab Spring spread all over Arabian countries. It's true such it doesn't exist in Qatar, Saudi Arabia. However, several reforms should be held in these countries because, for example, in Saudi Arabia and women don't have the right for voting. Besides, democratic institutions should be created in those countries. It can be clearly seen that there is need for considerable changes in Syria. The government promised its neighbors, such as Turkey, not to raise arms towards the nation. However, it broke its promise. Even it was revealed that Iran and Syria incited Kurdistan Workers' Party to increase operations against Turkey. Even Syria sent a terrorist called Mustafa Hassan to Kurdistan Workers' Party to involve in activities of the party. However, there is an also increasing regional influence by Turkey. Well, Turkey is reaching economic and military development day by day. At the same time, Turkey avoids past foreign policy concepts. Turkey's foreign policy is to build peace. Turkey shouldn't remain indifferent to the actions happened and should involve in those issues. How can revolutions in Arab world influence Azerbaijan? Well, I wouldn't compare Azerbaijan and another Arabian country because Azerbaijan is integrating into Europe. It's member of European organizations and other institutions. It's member of European Council, the neighboring country of European Union. Azerbaijan is the member of almost all the international conventions. It's true that in practice there are several problems such as violations of law. However, recently a law was adopted asking to eliminate corruption throughout the country, and it can be clearly seen that the government tries to solve the problems that hinders the development of the country. Besides, pensions are increasing in the country. Therefore, I can say that Azerbaijan is far from the actions happening in the Arabian world. What about respect towards democracy and human rights in Azerbaijan? Well, it's true that there are problems in Azerbaijan regarding democracy and human rights. That human rights are sometimes violated. There are political prisoners. However, recently some of them have been pardoned by the president, and the government also made economic financial reforms for the development of the country. What about constitutional reforms? Well, I consider that no changes should be made to the constitution. There's no problem with constitution. The problem is that in practice several officials don't observe the laws stated in the constitutions. Thank you for the interview. My guest today was politician Gabil Huseynli. Thank you.